Alright, we are recording. Continuing Titan Quest 2. Let's get going. Just trying to think if there's anything specific to mention right away. Nothing's jumping to mind though. It's also just been that kind of week for me where it's like, it might be there and I'm just not remembering. Anyway. Hey, oh wait, no, today, because I record this Friday, is, Independence Day, so hope everyone that celebrates that has a great day. And celebrates safely, because fireworks are not to be played around, really. Oh, wait a minute. Is that right? Yeah, that is. Okay. Alright. I like blaming the map. One thing, I think it was after the stream last week. There was an update. A hotfix that did actually address some issues that I was having in the my main save. Which is good, because some of it was like, oh, I can't interact with things I need to be able to interact with. Or the interactions were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. I did also spend some time... Yeah, this opens up late. Because of the whole, the capacity thing there. Because I do have other equipment that I can use for that. That has that, and so I was like, let me try this. And yeah, it's interesting. As you saw in that other character, they have a sword like this guy. Because I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it's that is pretty neat. That is pretty neat having just we're just gonna boost skills like that. I don't even know when that got added to the game, but I feel like it wasn't from the beginning. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Nothing.
There are some little birds playing in my front. Oh! You're the one, Lord tell me one thing. Do you like climbing trees? Briscoes, the ones with 2 legs seem to be dumber than you.
Don't mind her. She's the official delegate from Pan's Grove.
Yes? What are...
The Dryads are the great and noble protectors of the forest.
Yay!
Yeah.
My name is Maria. Oh, it's a wonderful place. You might even get transformed into something fun, like the centaurs that one...
What? Did our missing scouts get stuck in the forest? The ones who were...
I'm not sure what you mean. You don't know? We're types of nymphs. Dryads walk around on 2 legs, while we hammer dryads are the spirits of individual trees. Oh, I'm so glad I don't have any legs.
We do encounter a number of these guys, of these trees in here, and they're just silly. At this moment, Oh yeah, I guess seeing that I can talk about. So this week, thankfully, not really a dense week for news. Still some interesting stuff. Like one thing, we got some new reviews out on Overclockers Club, including one video review for an MSI AIO cooler, Neo Seeker, sister site. Mark Watkins, I think it was, got to go to China to see Lexar's Lexar turned 30, and so they brought people in, and it wasn't just a basic kind of press tour. It was also for showing like how they go through the manufacture and testing, validation, product planning of their stuff. So that's neat. You should give that a look. There's another thing that I will talk about, a science thing that's like, oh, this is interesting. I'll write that up. But I'll first let's talk to this guy first.
Why in the world did you kill Ixion? What's wrong with you?
I'm gonna try this one.
You made a promise to Centaurus. I was never one to worship our eternally punished forefather Mother. It's not just brand-bearers who would come from afar to seek audience. It's strange. Earlier today, I was standing here with Centaurus. Then, a woman arrived. She must have convinced him that you killed Ixion. After that, he told me to spread the word that both you and Centaurus want Chiron free. And you're the only one who can do it with that. But that's the only thing keeping once Chiron is free. You've shown great honor facing your fate. When you're ready, go east, and they used to be the Golden Fields. Centaurus thinks that Chiron is the source. Chiron suffered from a nemesis supposedly eternally punished Chiron to produce. If the tales are all to be believed, Nemesis does seem the poison spread so slowly. It was only a year after Chiron disappeared. Tread carefully. But perhaps that's not such a concern for a demigod. Good luck.
So, on my main character, I did try the, just saying he attacked me and defended myself, but he kind of interpreted that as weakness. That's why I wanted to try here. It's like, well, he kind of deserved it. Just to see if that would eluce a better response. Because the whole, like, oh, well, you know, I was just defending myself, is seems like, yeah, you're making an excuse.
It's just mice running around.
So, yeah. But there's no real consequence, because what happens with Centaurus is what's going to happen with Centaurus. I mean, that there is no other way to put it but that, so... There's a number of things around here, by the way, which is why I put it down like that. Alright. Normally I'm doing it up here, so I get the group here, and then I get the group there, so right there was just a good place. Oh, and see, there was still over here, too. Alright, let's see if I can draw them down here. There we go. I know I could just put down new ones, but why? I don't need to. I can just bring them over to be killed. So yeah, the one thing that I also saw and wrote up, some news from MIT concerning graphene, and yeah, I know that's, you know, it's been a while, it is still something I see graphene talked about, it's like, alright, I gotta at least read this. So, for a while, it's been known that graphene has what's referred to as this magic ain't. Okay, I should first explain what graphene is. So, graphene is an allotrope of carbon. So it is pure carbon, like a diamond, like graphite, and carbon nanotubes and some other stuff. It's called an allotrope because it's pure, but it's a different shape. It's got a different molecular crystal structure, right? For graphene, it specifically, it looks like chicken wire, but what's most interesting and important is it's effectively two-dimensional. It is a single layer of atoms, so one atom thick sheet of just carbon atoms in a hexagon pattern. Okay? Now, because it's two-dimensional, it can have some weird behaviors. And one thing that had been noticed before, this magic angle thing, is where if you put one layer on top of another, and you have them just at just right orientation relative to each other, just right angle, they will actually demonstrate superconductivity, which is obviously a big deal. We want superconductors, especially relatively cheap ones, because superconductors you can send electricity without any resistance. Okay, so that's obviously very desirable for various reasons. you can use it for sending data. You can just send power with it. You can, oh crap, my brain just turned off a little bit. You can also store power, kind of. I'll get to that, because it actually is a little relevant here. It's tangential, but it is relevant. That you can store power by just putting a current on there. So it's like, because there's no resistance. Once the electrons get moving, they keep moving. And I should also quickly explain that superconductivity is a result of the formation of what are called Cooper pairs. Okay? I know that this does get technical, but it has to. Normally, electrons would repel each other because they're, like, charged. But they had a like electrical charge. I have to even specify that in this case. But in superconductors, they do pair up. These are called Cooper pairs, and the interactions within Cooper pairs allows the electron pairs to then move without resistance. Okay. So when you have graphene at just this right angle for two layers, you'll have this happen. You will have them form these Cooper pairs. And there's, by the way, other properties that make graphene really interesting. Like, it's already a very... it is already a very good conductor and has very, very high electron mobility. Meaning it's not just that electrons can move easily, they move fast. And that is actually significant, because even though, we like using copper as a conductor, because it's a very good conductor, it actually has relatively low mobility. Like, to get one electron from one side of a copper cable to the other takes, for electricity, kind of a long time. Which is one advantage to alternating current, because you're moving the energy, you're not moving the electrons. Anyway, what the MIT researchers found, they decided to work with rhombohedral, what was it? I don't quite remember. Basically, instead of taking graphene that is got at that special angle, they were working with graphene stacks where they're offset from each other as though in like a stair step. So that's why it's like a rhombus. And what's also neat is how they even got it. So graphene naturally occurs within graphite. Because graphite is it's pure carbon, but it has random orientations and such in there. It's not specifically aligned one way or another. So it can contain graphene. Graphene within there, but it's not a singular graphene crystal, essentially. Okay? So they were working with that, and hey, they got a sample here. It's like, alright, well, let's try adjusting the, while it also is really cold, because superconductors want to be cold, they have to be below a critical temperature to be a superconductor. And it's called the critical temperature. It's kind of like any phase of matter. So what they would do is adjust the electron density. So they would add electrons to it while also applying a voltage, so that then they could monitor. Well, no, sorry. They'd apply a current. And then they were monitoring the voltage, because I would tell them if they achieved superconductivity, because the voltage would then change. Because the voltage is kind of what gets the electrons moving for a current. So if the voltage suddenly drops, that means that, we don't need as much to get them moving. We know there's lowered resistance. So they added electrons and found that, hey, we got superconducting states in this geometry for the graphene. Cool. Well, then they decided to try, alright, what happens if we lower the electron density? What happens if we are removing electrons from the graphene? What happens then? It's like, okay, we found 4 new superconducting states in there. It's like, okay, that's cool. But then they went a step further. I don't recall it saying why they did this, but they then decided, Let's apply a magnetic field. This proved far more important than they probably would have ever expected. So typically, how I mentioned part of it, or anyway, I'll just explain it again. Typically, superconductors cannot continue to be superconductors in a magnetic field. This is because those electrons that pair up, they typically have opposite spins. So spin is this kind of weird but very, very real property of most particles. Well, of most hadrons? It's not bosons. I know it's not bosons, because technically a photon is a boson. But photons do not have spin. But electrons do. Electrons do have spin. And this is actually where natural brain just turned off again. Natural magnetism comes from is spin. So if you have spin, if the total spin of the various particles in an atom or molecule is going to be biased towards one direction, it will produce a magnetic field. Just naturally will be there. Okay? With Cooper pairs, those are typically formed with opposite spins. So when an external magnetic field is applied, the result is the electrons in the Cooper pair are going to be pulled away from each other. Right? They're going to be pushed because one wants to go in one direction because of the magnetic field, the other wants to go in the opposite direction. Okay? So as I said, this is why you end up seeing magnetic fields typically damaging superconductors. Which does also lead to one other kind of interesting behavior. Result. Because some high-temperature superconductors that we have, they actually have dopants in them that will cause the magnetic fields to go through these dopants, those specific molecules. This is important because if you've ever seen like the whole, you have a superconductor here that's levitating. It's not. It would be, it's called quantum locking. And what's going on there is, okay, sorry, I just want to take care of this stuff. What's going on in quantum locking is those magnetic fields get so concentrated down to those dopants, because the dopants are they have very high magnetic permeability. Okay, so the magnetic fields can go through them.
Interesting human.
But the superconductor doesn't want to do that, right? The superconducting material around doesn't want to do it. So all the magnetic field energy gets forced through into just the dopants. Well, it takes energy to break a field line or to move from one field line to another. Okay? So, what ends up happening as a result of that is it becomes very difficult for you end up with the quantum locking because the material does not want to just... I know I'm explaining this poorly. Because the material doesn't want to, even gravity doesn't have enough energy for this, to have it move from one field line to another. It is now locked in position. Okay? And so for that reason, you have what appears to be levitation, but it isn't. And one way you can kind of show that as well is if you have this locked material just floating there, if you grab it and turn it, it'll stay in that orientation. If it were levitating, then you expect, it's going to have preferred orientation. No, there isn't going to be one. Anyway, so yeah, superconductors typically they don't like magnetic fields. There can be some weird behaviors though connected to it, but still, magnetic fields tend to damage it. Except when the researchers come back to this graphene, when they exposed the lowered electron density graphene to a magnetic field, and they actually did this both with a magnetic field in parallel to the planes of the fields. To the planes of the graphene. And when perpendicular, they found it was actually very resistant. When in parallel, it was so resistant that they were able to hit 9 Tesla, which Tesla's just because of Nikola Tesla, that's just the unit we use for magnetic fields. That's also about 180,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. So that's really impressive, okay? And very unexpected. Oh, hang on. Let me actually look at that. So I just saw an email that looks like GOG is doing a giveaway. It is their summer. Yeah, let me just see. Yeah, giveaway for Nexus, the Jupiter incident looks like. Okay. And that, I'll pull up the main page as well to be certain. Yep, for 72 hours. So because I am going this Friday, that'll be still 48 hours when this comes out. All right. So yeah, they found that when it was... No, yeah, I'm going to come down this way. When in parallel, it had tremendous resistance to the magnetic field. That could be huge. That legitimately could be huge if they can figure out how to scale this up. Now, there's still the issue of temperature, but for now, it's still that's very significant. Now, when the magnetic field, the external magnetic field, was perpendicular, to the graphene, they encountered something very different. It was still resistant. It still was like, yeah, the superconductivity is still there, but something else happened that they weren't expecting. Remember how I mentioned that there's a critical temperature that the material needs to be below in order for it to be in a superconducting state? Yeah, that increased. So it actually, and I'm pretty sure they did say that, yeah, the resistance went down, so it became an even better superconductor when exposed to a magnetic field. That makes no sense. That was like, what? That's not how this is supposed to work. Like, there's no other superconductor that has this behavior. What is going on here? Especially that raising of the temperature, of the critical temperature. Well, they have an idea. That's kind of funny. I had to be careful on how I wrote this as well. Because they have an idea. But technically there's more theoretical work to be done, so I'm not even sure if it counts as a theory. Remember how I mentioned about the whole, you typically expect the Cooper pairs to be spin up and spin down? So it's opposite spins within the pairs? Their idea is maybe the lowering of the... Wow, we are getting a lot of uniques today. Is that maybe... I want to keep what I have. What's actually going on there is these Cooper pairs, because of the low energy density, electron density, maybe those are actually aligned. So now the magnetic field, the same thing is happening to both of the electrons in the pairs, instead of it being different. So at least they'd move together, maybe even be pressed together, you know, like strengthen the bonding of the pairs. So yeah, that's why. It's still, they were mentioning like millikelvin, which I thought that graphene superconductivity was at a higher temperature than that, but still it's so this was a very significant discovery, because if they can figure that out, then they may not only have found a way to solve the problem of magnetic fields disrupting superconductivity, which will be a problem, because it's like that there are magnetic fields are very common, but it's also there are things you'd want to be able to use. Like if you could have superconductors in a computer, you would also, if possible, want to find a way to incorporate magnetic fields into computers as well, in more ways than they are now, because there's some neat stuff you can do with them. So yeah, it's quite a discovery, and also just very much a, the hell? Why is it doing this? Kind of discovery too, so. Alright, let's get back to over here. I like clearing out the map, and this is a large map. It really is. Anyway, but yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. And one thing I do also want to mention that's also important, and I think it was part of what they said with when they were increasing the when they found the superconductivity was improving because of the magnetic field. And I did write this in, so it is explained in the news item as well. Superconductors have an upper limit to the amount of current they can carry. And this is something I can believe a lot of people don't realize. So it's like you can't just pump more and more current, pump more and more electrons into a superconductor and have that work. Okay, that will actually start defeating itself. And the reason why is because eventually the okay, cool. I'll explain what's going on here in a moment. The reason why you can't do that is the Cooper pairs, they do physically exist, and they will start interacting with each other as they go around and around and around in the superconductor. By doing that, they can actually start the interactions can start producing resistance. So it's if you imagine them like being cars on a racetrack. When eventually you get so many of them, I forgot to do that. That they start bumping into each other, and that's going to slow them down. They can't move as freely around the track anymore. So yeah, that's not a minor issue. Alright, what am I putting? What have I been putting them into? Yeah, don't really need that. Was it that I put that in here to remind me? Or was it just as a 1-point wonder kind of thing? Might as well dump them in here, it looks like. Alright, and what do I want to put these into? I mean, that is appropriate. Let me... Yeah, that's true. I could also put it in here and start doing stuff like that. I don't think I have any good reason to, well... Yeah, no, I'd rather not. Yeah, I think it's... Improving this is gonna be best. So what's going on here? They did say it should... What? That makes no sense. What the heck? I reduced the amount of energy... What did it just do? There we go. That was very weird. So explaining the trees. Place is poisoned, right? You can purge the trees, some of the trees anyway, like this one. So now, instead of like when I'm in here, there, I'll start getting this poison debuff. You're being poisoned by the field. When near the tree, it will actually clear that, and it can give you, because see, this is sustainable a little bit, so it can help that.
Centaurus went further in. The poison in the air, stronger than I thought. Need to seek the heart of the poison. Centaurus the Nemesis punished him to blight our lands. Centaurus.
Yes, Centaurus is angry. I don't need to actually ask that. Okay, I do want to hit this. It'll make some sense, I think, when I get there, but I gotta clear the map. It's how I play. At least, I do believe it is, not going to lose the minimap, the Fog of War, because that did it to me. That happened to me on the other character. But there's a hotfix the hotfix should have helped with that and such. So yeah, we'll hopefully have that all taken care of. So I don't need to revisit the map at some point. Although, I mean, for how I play, it's not that horrible. Because I like exploring all the map and clearing everything. There's one. So that gets me that. Let's... yeah. Okay, so these faces, you want to get their eyes back. By visiting them, it puts on the map where you can find the eyes. You already saw that with one of them. But they also are connected to a large tree that has a copy of every face. Now, you only put the eyes in one, but it is still, this linking does exist. Which is why I want to hit that, because then it's just going to help set up the larger quest. Side quest, yes, but still. There we go. There. Now it has that eye. Right eye will be over here. But there's where the main tree is. So I am holding back the sneeze. Wow, that's even a little too easy. Yeah, the trees can take multiple shots to do, which does get annoying, but is what it is, so. There we go, so that more enemies to spawn. Good, now it's cool. go turn that in. Definitely starting to get full here. There. Yep, and it's I don't know. I'm tripping on them. Just saw another email for press release. Not sure if I will necessarily add it. Probably should, but doesn't mean I completely want to. That's a little awkward. It's I need to be able to interact with them. Okay. There. So that tells me what that one is. You know, maybe I can't interact with them because those are the two that I've already done. Let's see, now I've got the faces are over there. When I visit the faces, then they will tell me where the eyes are, generally. Okay, good.
Carrying too much.
No. Okay, yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. I can rush to get to Centaurus, so we free Chiron and do that stuff. I think I can do that before or around this hitting an hour. I think that's gonna make no sense, but there's a lot of stuff over there to do. Like it's the map is kind of big.
Once our foe can run beside us,
There's some swaying thing to put it.
our herds will be thinner this winter.
So yeah.
Oh, champ!
See, this one is... Well, that's true, actually. Let me... You know, I definitely don't want to change what I have. I want to leave that shield, but... Now, when we... Say, which actually, I do just want to check. Yeah, so that's all appropriate. Okay. There we go. Oh, I forgot to take care of those. Well, that's probably will end up picking up more, so. Yeah, sorry. Have to leave for another time. Although I will work on these. If they're just trash mobs, yeah, fine. I'll leave those for another time. But the trees I do want to try to clear. Okay, there. Because it makes traversal easier to clear those. Pretty sure. Where is it? Pretty sure that there is another. Ah, here. That there's another tree. A little crazy here, right? Whoa! I have no idea. I have no idea what killed me there. I just suddenly saw that, oh, I'm just losing health. And by the time it was, I could get my finger to where I could do anything about it, was already dead, so. Don't you hate it when it's like you got something that's clearly
Do something about
an inferior item, like only 186 armor, but I like having the damage.
Who's kicking?
I'll hang on to that though.
Hello, champion!
Got any interest?
Hello, champion!
And we don't have one of these yet. Or one already filled. Yeah. I don't do an ailment build, so not super helpful. I have no idea why this is just shred. Like, what the hell are the enemies here? Oh, son of a bitch, it did that again. I didn't even notice that. Damn it. Yeah, I mean, this guy should not have this much health. What the hell's going on here? But it's also, apparently it's not doing the thing correctly with sustains. It did it again, look. Why is it doing that? I mean, at least that guy's still there, but what the hell's going on here? You know what? Just turn that off. It's like there is no value to that right now. I'm killed again. What the hell? I do not understand. I really have no idea where any of this damage is coming from, and I have no idea why they seem to have like double the health of enemies anywhere but near this tree. I have no idea what's going on. And the fact that this is broken is also pissing me off. It's like I can't trust my own abilities, and I do not know why. I really, really have no idea for why. I mean, if it shouldn't just be that, oh, you don't have enough mana or something, because I've seen that before.
I miss being here.
And when that has happened, also, it does piss me off. I just lost a bunch of experience because of that bullshit. I really have no idea why this is just, yeah, it doesn't matter what your situation is right now. You just are losing health and you do not trust your own abilities to do it. I mean, look, it happened again. It happened again. What the hell is going on here? I mean, this is... and that thing just went down. It should not have gone down. What the absolute hell is going on here? I mean, here, you know what? Let me do this. Because legitimately, it didn't seem to be doing that earlier. Nope, it did it again. What the hell is going on here? Right, just turn that off. I cannot turn off the other two. They're too important to just living. What the absolute fuck is going on? Because this is in no way what should be happening here. Nothing makes sense right now. It has got to be a bug. I've never seen this behavior before. I really have. And this character has more mana than the other one does. It's the worst part about this. Like, this can you actually tell me? See, this is also just annoying, because like here it'll tell me, oh yeah, how much I've left, 62. I've had the other one down to under 30 and never had an issue like this. It makes no sense. It really, really makes no sense. Something is exceedingly broken. And as I should not be dying like this either. It is absolutely as though I have half health. And look, it's also, again, these have all turned off on me. So let me... There. So I have enough mana. It's doing it again. It's doing it again. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? I might have to abandon this right now. I legitimately might have to, because something is just crapping on the mana system at the moment, and I don't know how I can survive, because I cannot trust that any of these abilities are actually active. I can't. And the enemy, where the hell are these enemies coming from? None of the... Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do this. If it'll let me. It might not. There, fine. Just get the fuck away. Get the fuck away, okay? Where the... Here. There are, like, double the enemies as well that there should be. None of this is making sense. Like, every number is wrong here. Every single number is wrong. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at how many enemies are just spawning here. I walked through this area, and I did kill a good number of them. It's like, nope, we're just here. It doesn't make any sense. Is this gonna be any more reliable? No. Go back to here. That means that, why not? I might have to slow walk this. That even to me is going to be painful. Okay, where it's like literally a meter at a time, because they use meters in the game because it's stupid. I'm sorry, it is really asinine. It's like, it doesn't matter what the unit is. You don't have to use meters. You could use feet, you could use yards. You could also just make it up. And it is utter nonsense too, because it's like, okay, what's a meter in here? Can you look here and tell me what a meter is? No, you can't. There's no point of reference in here for what a meter is. It's the dumbest thing. Okay, let's all those off. Yes, you're down. That's fine. Let's turn those two on. It's refusing to reserve any of the energy. It's just refusing to do so, which means I can't, like, what happens? It doesn't even tell me why. What the hell's going on here? It's like, that's not reliable. None of this is reliable. What the hell is going on? See, it's refusing to keep any of this. What is this? Because I have enough mana. It tells me it would reserve 264. I have 346. And just get 346 here as well. What is this? I am getting that experience back, okay? Fuck this game for being like, nah, I don't know how to do math anymore. But look at that. They're doing so. It looks like they're barely doing any damage. Oh my god. What the? They're not doing any damage. They're legitimately doing no damage. Look, there's no damage numbers. What the hell? Okay, you know what? Main menu. This is broke. Wow. And we can go back in. I wanted that, once I got the experience back, say, okay, I can redo this. I can go out and go back in, but what the hell? What the absolute hell is going on here? Because they were legitimately doing no damage. The only damage numbers that came up were from him. Okay, so currently it looks like it's knowing how to do math at the moment. I'm just gonna sell this stuff. I don't need it. And we'll try beaming over again. Okay, it's not broken. I have no idea. As I said, I've never encountered anything like that before in this game. I'm not even sure if I've encountered a bug like that in other games. I mean, to be fair, I don't really know of any other games that have the sustained mana in my collection. Yeah, that just never seen anything like it. And that's not a small issue. That's legitimately a what the hell? It did it again. It's done it again. It is something to do with this tree. Okay, you know what? We do that again. Obviously, I'm not going to go all the way to Centaurus now, because I can't even progress that far. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Something is causing, like, my main abilities to just cease to be functional. So just as I have to go slow. I have to go slow. I cannot go fast. Okay. That was definitely faster than if he were attacking alone, so okay. You're not attacking anything. They really, really need to fix that. I'm sorry, because that's even just embarrassing, okay? It's like, hey, we have these things. Isn't it nice to just... It's like, it's attacking air. It is attacking air. Okay? Not an air elemental, air. We need that fixed. Like, if that isn't fixed, and when they get the spirit mastery in, that's going to be a heavily, heavily pet-based or summons-based. It's like that. Oh, I think that there will be a lot of anger over that. Because, like, wait, this whole thing is that, but they're just gonna, like, walk into walls. There it is. It just did it again. It has to be something from this tree. Yeah, but look, my summons are legitimately doing nothing. I'm stuck. What the hell am I? How? That would also be nice if they fixed, but that's much more a spot by spot kind of thing. Why are those now in a different order? Let me do that. Yeah, look at that. No damage. And this guy doesn't do enough damage. This character doesn't do enough damage. I have to have the summon do it. Ah, wrong button. There. I mean, is that doing anything to help? I don't think so. And I can't even do anything to like boost the healing of the thing either. I can try doing like that and then back on. Is that going to get them to function again? Nope. Wow, this is... This is very bad. And this character is not that different from the main character. I mean, this is with Warfare. The other one is with Storm. But come on, would you mind hitting it? Okay, so I think I did trigger the next stage for that, but let's come back. It's also weird because it is just causing damage to me as well. Okay, so now I am in trouble. I'm in serious trouble because the main thing for doing damage is dead. There. Okay, so at least that we summoned him. But still is that there's... I don't know. Oh, the new boss is that tree. Okay? The new boss is that tree. What the hell? I'm... Oh, okay. Wait, what? That still makes no sense. There's like no cooldown on this, on the barrier. Cooldown is 8.8 seconds, but it just resets immediately. Yeah, I'm gonna beat that tree. And then I'm gonna... I don't know. I really don't know. And I really hate these mage guys that send those out. Because it's just so frustrating that it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to decide that, you know, half the map in front of us is just, you know, you can't live there. Thank you. Now, let's see if this will start working again. Okay. So far, yes, it was something to do with that tree. And these are doing damage again. What the hell? I might have to try to cut this out and send it and get this to the developers. That is wild. And as I said, I've never seen anything like that. It just was like a full-on, we're refusing to acknowledge that you have these abilities. You know, that's not bad. Okay, here it is. It did it again. It's from the trees in general, which is exceedingly screwed up. And if only it wasn't for, you know, all the extraneous, unnecessary stuff going on, you might be able to see more clearly that these are not doing damage. Oh, wait. No. You can see it's not doing damage. You got enemies walking through it as though it's not even there. Okay. You know what? Forget it. Okay, that's not fair. I actually did hit to heal. I did. And it just is, and I'm guessing it's oh, I'm climbing, so okay, it can't heal because the hands are being used. But then I can still get hit. That's nonsense, okay? That's pure nonsense.
I can't do that.
I don't care. Okay, yeah, fine. We're not staying by that.
Did you see that? A woman watching us.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up. That's all I wanted to. Centaurus is right. So I just need to check something. And just as for my own information kind of thing. Because it is supposed to be that the healed trees, the cleansed trees, clear you of the debuffs from the poison ones. So in theory, it should be when I'm here that this stuff works again. It should be like that. Okay. So it is for now, but it does look like the moment you get in... Explain this one. Okay, so I'm standing here. Let me turn them on. But I am in its thing, so okay. Is it that specific tree? Or is it just poison? Because in theory, if I just stand here, I will get hit by that poison. Nope. Oh, wait, no, there's the poison. It is something to do with being near that tree, even when it's cleaned. Okay, let's try something then. I want that experience back. Okay, I'm being robbed. Right, this is a definite bug. And I nope. See? So it's not just that. It might even just be like this part of the map. See, that's also, it shouldn't have disappeared. I was still within its range. If I clear the tree, at least then it should, in theory, yeah, let me try some. There we go, and back up to full. Oh my god, this is so broken. So that's not gonna do anything, but can do that. And so long as I stay alive, he's gonna have an easier time. Come on, come on, actually move, right? Intelligent dodging would be such an amazing thing to have in a game, but it seems like no game wants to have that. But that just means like, hey, you have the 3-inch step there. Oh, that's enough to stop a dodge. It's like I step over 3-inch steps all the time, just by accident. Okay, you know what? Maybe this thing isn't even doing what it's supposed to be doing either. Sadly, that would not surprise me in the least. It should, but what the heck is going on here? Come on, don't you? Oh, come on. You're just really trying to rob me of things, aren't you? Do you think you could attack? And the tree just continuing to be artillery is... And you know what the worst part about this is? So, I know what's ahead. Centaurus is in a temple, or whatever it is, with Chiron. You need to actually purge trees in it. So, the fact that this is so broken here suggests to me it's going to be broken there, such that I will not be able to actually even advance. That's the worst part of this. Okay, good. Now, if I do this... Okay, so it is back to doing that, so that's good. Am I even gonna be able to... Okay, good. I just want to advance a little bit. Okay, so those are doing damage again. going down here. Okay, so I am being poisoned again. There should be at one of the trees here. Yep, there it went again. And now... Oh, that is actually doing damage. Interesting. But still is, I do now have a relatively clean clip of this happening. And, because I'm right here... Yeah, I got no clue. Wow. It's just, wow, it is so thoroughly broken. And I do not know. Do you see this problem here? I turned... Oh, no, I guess I misclicked. I thought I hit it, though. There we go. There.
Hello, chum! We'll need more herbs dried before the end of the month.
Got any interesting...
Yeah, alright. I'm done. That is not at all how that should have been going. Wow, that was wild. That was very wild. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Actually, hang on, before I stop, let me just... Tech issues and support. Can't use health potion in Poison Swamp of Chapter 4. Okay, that's... Here we go. No, that's not it. Sustained abilities disappeared after Mark of Death use. That's not it. Ores turn off when killing mobs. Okay, let me look at that. I'm actually switching on to begin with. That's not... Body using Mark of Death turns off ores. That's not what was going on for me. That's not this. Using Vanish. It seems to turn off my flame. Okay, so... Seeing this... It somehow always happens when those trees are around in the temple and in the swamp. Okay. Turns off when I use Mark of Death. So people are seeing this from multiple things. Okay, so it is in fact happening. Other people have encountered it. My sustainabilities are gone, rendering my character very weak. Please... Okay, well... Please use the in-game porter. I don't remember noticing that. Okay. Okay, so yeah, in theory, I should be able to go in and crop that out. Cut out that section, and then put that up on YouTube unlisted, and then send it to them that way. But yeah, that... Ooh, boy. Yeah. That's quite a thing. Alright. See you next week. I don't know if that's good. If that is not fixed, I don't know when... I don't know if I'd be able to defeat Centaur... not defeat Centaurus. But defeat those trees and get Kyra. I legitimately don't. Because the character on its own is not strong enough. And the fact that it's also... Oh yeah, the summons don't do... The devices don't do any damage is... Whoa. So that's basically Forge itself is no longer works. Alright. See you next time.